Good after morning and welcome. This is Glass Earth Games, and today I'm going to make a pad sound in Vital. So join me if you want to make a sound that kind of has that 80s vibe, that kind of drifting in and out of tune kind of thing that you might hear on something like Drive or Stranger Things. I'll just play a chord with it. So. Kind of nice, right? So if you want to make that at home, let's go from the top. So we'll initialize a preset. Now I'm just going to kind of do this off the top of my head. You'll see me looking at my notes every now and again. So we have a saw, and I think with that we had something like 6 voices and just like your 1% detune. And then we have a nice triangle. So we go to basic shapes and we'll bring up what am I doing? Just basic shapes, and then move this guy. Triangle, and then we're going to do a sine. So we'll just get that out of the way for starters. Okay, and on this first guy, we've got, he's on 0, and we're going to put bend over here, and we're just going to soften the shape of it a little bit like that. Then for the triangle, we've got 3 voices. We've got 3% there on the unison detune. Sorry, I'll try and make it easy to follow along as I can. And that is going to be plus 12. And so we'll transpose that up 12, and this one is going to go down 12. Okay, and that just stays. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to get the FM from 2 and punch it through that. So that's going to basically just make, if we just play this, it's a sine wave, right? But we put this through it, and you end up with a really strange sound, right? But altogether, it's quite brutal. But what we're going to do is we're going to turn this one and this one down, and we end up with that, right? So then let's do the envelope next. So we've got a tack of 0.3, I think I've got here. So let's just take it to about there, so it's kind of fades in. And then we're going to put the decay on 4.4, which is quite long, right? And then we are going to put the sustain on 0.9, so that's not much change. And the release is rather long, 5.4 seconds. Okay, so that's big and ugly. And then we're going to... have we got any noise? No noise. Okay, and then we are going to make this analog 24 on the filter, so the first filter, and we're going to punch everything through it. We're going to give that no resonance, and we're going to punch this up somewhere around 8,000 if I remember rightly. Oh no, cut off 2196. So somewhere around there. Anyway, let's see how this is sounding now. So we're starting to get there. You're starting to hear that sound. Now, LFO1. I've just written boobs because that's what it looks like. I kind of drew a shape, right, like this, but then I curved these. But one was bigger than the other, so it's kind of more like that, something like that, right? And then that is really slow, so down to 2/1. And that is going to do a few things. Okay, so... for one thing, it is going to transpose oscillator 1 and 2. So, but it's only going to do it a little bit. Like that's a lot. Listen. So that's too big. So we're going to just make that 0.5. And then we're going to do the same thing for here. And we're going to enter the value. We'll make this 1.7 just so that's slightly different. Now let's see how that sounds. Okay, that level is just that bit too high. I'm just going to bring it down a bit. It's a bit ugly. That's a bit nicer. So you can hear that, and that's because the shape of the boobs is I'm pointing at my screen. Hello. So wherever that is, the shape of the how do I point up in that way? Is that right? So the shape of the boobs makes it sort of wobble, right? We got choice words here today, but that is the basicness of the sound. But we're also going to do a few other things. We're going to play with the cutoff ever so slightly, not that much. It's just a little bit, right? So we'll just drag it down somewhere like that. Yeah, that's kind of nice. Then over here, we're going to add chorus. We're going to bring the depth down a little bit. We're going to make it 4 voices because this is an old school sound. So we want that 80s kind of, right? And then what we're going to do is use that LFO. We're going to drag that onto the depth there like that. So actually we might even do that and make it less. But still, that is going to... Here now we've got voices. Okay, so we're going to adjust this. So it's more like this. There we go. And so now here we've got this, it's pretty intense. We might just bring the mix down a little bit and the feedback down a little bit. And yeah, maybe just the spread a little bit too. We'll just do that. Let's see how that sounds. Okay, so that's sounding pretty. Okay, we've got chorus, and then we've got a slight distortion. I think that'll do. It's just a little bit of soft clip, just to make it a bit more interesting. And then we're going to do a nice long reverb, so something kind of big and long like that, but we're going to cut heaps of the low and highs out of it. So it'll be there, but it's not going to take over. Okay, so we're starting to get there, and then we're gonna whack a delay on it. Delay down the bottom. Gonna make it a ping pong. We're gonna make 1 1/8 and 1 1/8 dotted, and then we're gonna make it really like we're gonna EQ that. So basically, what that means is that the other delays that come off, they're more EQ'd to a kind of MIDI telephony sound. So that's starting to sound nice. I believe that is about it. And so then you can just name that whatever you like. Yeah, like I said, I called mine VHS Drift Pad. I hope this was handy, and I'll see you again next time.